2017 Leaving Cert Higher Level Paper 1, Question 1. You're asked to write the function f of x, which is equal to 2x squared minus 7x minus 10, where x is an element of real numbers in the form a times x plus h to be squared plus k. Part 2 is write the minimum point, and you know that the minimum point is going to be minus hk. Change the sign, keep the sign. So 2 times x squared minus 7 over 2x minus 5. We don't want to change the value. We still have exactly the same function that we started with. So we need to complete the square. This is completing the square method. So 2 times. Now we just focus on the first two parts here. How am I going to get minus 7 over 2x with an x plus h to be squared? This part here, it has to be x minus 7 over 4 to be squared. And this is going to give me, and I like doing this off to the side so we can keep consistent. We're not going to change the value of the original equation. We now have 2 times x squared minus 7 over 2x plus 49 over 16. And if we multiply this out, we're going to get 2x squared minus 7x. So the first two parts are the same. And we're going to get plus 98 over 16. But we want minus 10. So on your calculator, you could just type in. You type in 98 over 16, and it's a minus 10, so plus 10. We're looking for the difference between 98 over 16 and 10. And the difference is 258 over 16. So we need to go back 258 over 16, and this does simplify to be 129 over 8. So now what I have 2 times x minus 7 over 4 to be squared, and I need to have a minus 129 over 8 to keep the equation as the original. So part 2, I'll just write it down the way it was written in the exam. Hence write the minimum point of f. So if you know this piece of information, you can just write the answer down as change the sign, 7 over 4, keep the sign, minus 129 over 8. Or if you didn't know that, you could use calculus. So we could say, we know that if we differentiate and let it equal 0, we'll get the minimum point. So 4x minus 7 equals 0. It's differentiating 2x squared minus 7x. 4x is equal to 7. So you can see where the 7 over 4 is coming from. And then if we put 7 over 4 into our f of x equation to get y, 2 by 7 over 4 squared minus 7 by 7 over 4 minus 10. We'll also get y is equal to minus 129 over 8. So you could do it either way, but once you see hence, they are kind of giving you a clue that the information is taken from the previous part. But either way, for full marks here on question 1, parts A and B. So part C, explain why f must have 2 real roots. Well, if you don't know this answer, go and look at Algebra 16 in the playlist for LC Algebra. It's called the discriminant. And when the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac, is greater than 0, we have 2 real roots. So let's look at our equation again. 2x squared minus 7x minus 10. You're asked to solve it in the next part, but let's look at b squared minus 4ac first, because you're asked to show y. So b squared is minus 7 to be squared, minus 4 by a, which is 2, by c, which is minus 10. So we're going to get 49, and we have 8 by 10 plus 80, which is equal to 129, which is greater than 0, and therefore I'll just write 2 real roots, 2 or just to simplify it down. Then we're asked to write the roots of f of x equals 0 in the form p plus or minus q. Now this tells me we can use the quadratic formula. You could also use your knowledge to simplify this down in terms of x. Let it equal 0, bring the 129 over 8 across, and divide by 2, and so on. But I think it's probably easier just, we've already done b squared minus 4ac, so let's use that. So minus b is plus 7. Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which we've already calculated to be 129, all over 2a, which is 2 times 2. So we have 7 plus or minus the square root of 129 over 4. So our answer is 129, the square root of 129 doesn't simplify, so we're going to end up with 7 over 4 plus or minus the square root of 129 over 4, or we could write it as 7 over 4 plus or minus the square root. We could bring the 4 inside the square root and have square root of 129 over 16, which will be the same as the square root of 129 over 4. But both answers are fully okay here.